games are what make E3 special. The games are the reasons why we sit in front of our televisions and computers watching these press conferences just to catch a 2-minute glimpse of our favorite franchises returning, or perhaps that one big surprise. So I thought it would be fun to go through and list the 13 games that got my heart pumping, the 13 games that really left an impression. What's going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another video. And yeah, 13 is kind of a weird number, but when I was compiling this list, it was 13 games that stood out to me the most. And we're going to get through this as fast as I can. And we're going to start off this list at number 13, and that is Gears 5. I'm sure some of you are probably like, wait a minute, Gears 5, that was one of the best games shown at Microsoft's conference. And you're an Xbot, Rand. Shouldn't Gears be higher? Well, even though Xbox is my primary platform, I'm not necessarily the lover of Gears other people are. Yes, I enjoy Gears quite a bit, but I wasn't a super fan. However, with that said, I did think the trailer for Gears 5 presented a different take on Gears, something that I wanted Gears of War 4 to be. They switched main characters. Instead of JD, now it's Kate. Clearly some time has passed, and it looks like it might be a little bit different style of a Gears of War game. And that has me actually quite looking forward to playing it when it comes out in 2019. Now, the next game on this list is Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 2 is my favorite Resident Evil game of all time, and honestly, what they've done here, rebuilding the game with a fresh coat of paint, very similar to the Shadow of Colossus remake from earlier this year, just has me dying to replay what I consider to be a true masterpiece. It's been a long time since I played Resident Evil 2, so much so that I'll probably feel like a new game when I do play it on January 25th of next year. But stepping back into the shoes of Leon, going into Raccoon City for the first time and being overwhelmed by all those zombies, I mean, just look at the detail in this game. I cannot wait to play Resident Evil 2. Now, next up, we have my favorite franchise in all of gaming, the reason I even got an Xbox in the first place, and that is Halo Infinite from 343 Studios. Yes, it was just a game engine demonstration. Yes, there was no date given. Presumably we can expect this in 2020. But the return of Master Chief always gets me excited to see what adventures await him, to see what happened after Halo 5, what it will happen between the battle of Cortana versus Master Chief. Are we going open world as hinted at in the trailer? It looked pretty cool, and I can't wait to find out more. Hopefully E3 2019, when they maybe debut some gameplay. Love me Halo. So this is where we get into the top 10. And honestly, I didn't think this game would make the list, but after watching the trailer for the first time, I had to be here, and that's Devil May Cry 5 from Capcom. It showed up at Xbox's press conference. Everybody thought it was going to be a PlayStation exclusive, and it was a true shocker to see it at Xbox's. But man, what they showed was pretty damn incredible. At first it looked like DMC2 with Nero having the white hair, but as time went on, it was pretty apparent that it wasn't a sequel to the reboot, but a true sequel to Devil May Cry 4, which I wasn't necessarily a big fan of, and I don't think most people were either. But the gameplay looks kinetic, it looks a lot of fun, and I honestly can't wait to get my hands on this in 2019. At the number 9 spot, we have the lone Bethesda game, and no, it's not Fallout 76, and no, it's not Starfield, and no, it's not Elder Scrolls 6. It's the one where they actually showed a lengthy gameplay demonstration, and honestly, I never thought I'd be putting Rage anywhere close to a most anticipated or best of, but that's what's happening here. We have Rage 2 from Avalanche, and my god, did that gameplay demo sell me on this game. It looks absolutely incredible, and this is coming from someone who thought the original Rage was just an okay game. It was fine, it was good, it wasn't bad, but it really wasn't anything special. And after hearing about maybe how it didn't set the world on fire with its sales, I never thought we'd see a sequel. And yet here we are with some crazy over-the-top action, with the game that gameplay-wise resembles a lot of Doom. It almost looks like a first-person Mad Max. There's some ridiculous stuff going on here in this gameplay trailer, and it has me really, really pumped to check this out whenever it drops in 2019. Next up, we have Control from Remedy. Now, this showed up at PlayStation's conference, and honestly, from the first second I saw the female character, it reminded me of Beth Wilder from Quantum Break. And when she started doing those powers, you instantly thought to yourself, wow, this is Quantum Break 2, or Quantum Break Second Chance Edition. Remedy are pretty good at what they do. They are the masters of the third-person action genre, or third-person, shooter genre that, they started off with, like Max Payne and Quantum Break. And it's cool to see them go in this direction. It seems like this is going to be the Quantum Break sequel in all but name. But it instantly made an impression with not only myself, but clearly everybody else in the audience, because you suddenly have PlayStation fans who thumb their noses at Quantum Break, now eagerly anticipating Control from Remedy. It's kind of funny if you ask me, but hey, I'm glad for more people to get on the Remedy train, because Max Payne, Alan Wake, and Quantum Break were legit great games, and I think that's what Control's going to be as well. Now at the number 7 spot, we have Forza Horizon 4 from Playground Games, and it's just a series that continues to impress and get better. How do you top Forza Horizon 3, the game that was set in Australia, one of the highest racing games on Metacritic of this generation, sits at a 91. Well, apparently you add dynamic seasons, weather, and time. You have a shared open world experience where up to 72 people can be seen driving around together. It looks incredible. It's going to play incredible. And with that 60 frames mode on the X, you can tell that Playground Games isn't just content to sit on their laurels as the best racing dev of the generation. They're aiming to be just one of the best devs, periods. So Forza Horizon 4 at number 7. Which brings us to number 6, and this is Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice from Software. Now, it's true I haven't played many Dark Souls games, I'm not the biggest fans of them, and honestly, when Shadows Die Twice was revealed at the Game Awards last year, I never thought I'd be putting it on a most anticipated list. I probably thought back then I wasn't even going to play it. But after watching that 2-minute trailer, and the combat that is shown off, with the grapple hook and all the rope different mechanics that it seems to have, I was eagerly anticipating seeing more. And honestly, I was incredibly impressed with what From Software is doing with this game. Reminded me a lot of Tenchu, and I just can't wait to actually see a lengthy gameplay segment. But anyways, it's coming out in 2019, and I'll be there day one. I know a lot of people probably like, but Rand, you don't like From Software, you haven't played the Dark Souls games. That's fine. But this is a game that really appeals to me, and I'll be definitely checking it out. Now, next up at the number 5 spot, so we're at the top 5 now. This is the creme de la creme. We come to Spider-Man from Insomniac, a game that is coming out really soon, 3 months away on September 7th. And I think it's really the only game that is coming out this year. Oh, no, that's not true, because Forza Horizon 4 is coming out this year. So it's one of 2 games releasing this year. And my god, did that presentation, that gameplay segment, that prison break that they showed at Sony's conference just make my jaw drop. Yes, it resembles a lot of Batman Arkham combat mixed with a bunch of air juggles, but I'm perfectly content with that because I love the Batman Arkham fighting system. I love the Batman Arkham games. So you take that, put Spider-Man in it, a lot of aerial shenanigans going on, and that really fast-paced kinetic movement where you web sling all over, and then you add the pedigree of a great studio like Insomniac, telling a great personal story about Peter Parker, who's already been Spider-Man for some time because all of his villains were locked in prison, and I think we're in for a treat on September 7th. I don't think necessarily it's going to dethrone God of War for me for Game of the Year, but I think it's going to come real damn close. If they can just kind of nail the storytelling aspect and tell a deep personal story about Spider-Man that is fun to swing around the city and beat up the bad guys, oh man, Spider-Man could be something truly, truly special. But even still, it was only number 5 on that list, and I was loving that gameplay demo. So what are the top 4? I'm sure there'll be some debate here. Some people won't like my top 4, but it is what it is, and these are just my opinions after all. At number 4, we are going to go with The Last of Us 2 from Naughty Dog. Man, the demo they showed was impressive. It was also violent. That transition of Ellie kissing that girl, and yes, there's already people complaining about lesbians in their video games. Not only lesbians in their video games, but lesbians being the main focus and main character in the game. But maybe that's a topic for a different video. But that transition from her kissing the chick into Ellie cutting the throat of a man who is just helpless, as the girl just said, they should be terrified of you, was a really good transition. And then we went into an extended 8-minute demo showing off all the new features that Naughty Dog has implemented in the game, like proning, crawling underneath cars, slipping between tight spaces, throwing bottles at full speed as you're running. The game does look like a true step up, and it's interesting though because I felt it did lack something, and that was Joel. We don't know where Joel is. Is Joel dead? Is Joel alive? And I kind of missed their camaraderie they have, the back and forth talk that really kind of elevated Last of Us to the masterpiece level. But of course, it's just a quick 8-minute gameplay demo showcasing off everything, and they did it incredibly well. It's gonna be such a violent game, but you know, Naughty Dog is not gonna let you down, and this is gonna probably be the best game of the year in whatever year it releases, whether it's 2019, 2020, or 2021. Who knows? My guess is on 2019. So coming in at number 3, we have Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and I already hear the Sony fanboys saying, Rand, how dare you? You put Ori above Last of Us 2. What is wrong with you? And listen, Ori and the Blind Forest was almost a perfect game for me. It's one of the best games of this generation for sure, top 5. And I have full faith in Moon Studios to not only make a better sequel, but to improve upon the first game in such a way that this game will be a 10 out of 10 masterpiece. I have that much faith in Moon Studios. And everything I saw there, oh god, it is, out of all the games here, Ori was the best looking. That art style, that hand-drawn 2D animation, no game looks like this. No game looks more beautiful than Ori and the Will of the Wisp. And watching the 10-minute or so gameplay demo from IGN that they posted, I'm sold. I am so incredibly looking forward to this game. And yes, maybe I am a bit biased, as Ori was the game I did break 1 million gamer score on, so it holds a special place in my heart, and maybe that's why I have it over Last of Us 2 here. But either way, I'm dying to play Ori, and I wish it was coming this year. But please, Moon Studios, take your time, because I want this game to be the masterpiece I know it can be, and I want this game to just be discovered by more people, because it deserves a wider audience that loves Ori just as much as I do. So top 2, here we go. What do you guys think it's going to be? Well, number 2, we're going to be coming in with CD Projekt Red. It's one of the things that stole the show at Microsoft's press conference, and that is Cyberpunk 2077, the next game from them after Witcher 3, and it looked incredible. And then we got to hear about the 50-minute demo that was shown behind closed doors to the press. Man, oh man, oh man. It sounds like a dream come true. And yeah, there are some people bitching about the fact it's a first-person perspective game instead of third-person, but I couldn't care less. I'll take whatever CD Projekt Red does, because I think they are the best at what they do. And that sci-fi setting, oh man, I am dying to just explore the world that CD Projekt Red made for us. You know what I mean? That's my number 2, so I have a bunch of games here. A bunch of games that we just went through, 12 of them. What could possibly be number 1? Well, if you've been listening to the podcast, you already know. But number 1 for me was Ghosts of Tsushima by Sucker Punch. It is the game that took my breath away. It's a game that I didn't expect to like that much, and I almost fell in love from that first showing. It looks like Samurai Witcher. The visuals, the scenery, the fighting system, it just spoke to me on a level that I did not anticipate. And that is why it is number 1 for me. Now, that's my list, guys. My top 13 games are the best 13 games of E3 2018. And I want to see what yours are. So drop your list in the comments below. Tell me what your favorite games were, and I'll make sure to check it out. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Hit the notification bell. Share this out on social media, all that good stuff. And I want to thank you guys for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.